Good morning and welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News, a special episode here on the December 6th, 2019, on a Friday morning. Got a couple quick stories for you and an apology. One, those of you that yesterday were looking for the Chillie Chats with Kyle Falwell, which we had hoped to get on yesterday afternoon. We had to postpone that until hopefully sometime this afternoon. And what happened, folks? Kyle is an extraordinarily busy man. And we were trying to fit the interview in between him flying to New York, from New York to Richmond, and Richmond to Raleigh during the day yesterday. And we were actually hoping to do the interview from New York. And his schedule got a little fouled up, so he had to back out on that. And we're trying to get it worked out for later on today. So I don't have the time for it yet. So you're just going to have to kind of watch. And we'll get a notification up when we're going live with the Chillie Chats with Kyle Falwell, and get an update on all the recovery efforts in the Bahamas. So that's the whole purpose of it. Okay, we got a couple stories to cover this morning. One's is good news and one's not such good news. One of the busiest cruise ports in the country set a new record, and that's Galveston, Texas. By the way, it's the fourth largest cruise port in North America. In case you didn't know that, of course, Miami's the biggest port. Port Canaveral is second, and I think Fort Lauderdale's third. But the Galveston is now fourth, and it hit 1 million passengers. So that is a new record for Texas, and it's apparently that's just the starting of things down there, because they're having some major expansion. They've got some new ships going into Galveston this next year. But the milestone was reached yesterday, and the passengers, that was the millionth passenger. They had a bunch of gifts and stuff that they were surprised at the port. Had a 13% increase. That's a nice increase. It results in $1.5 billion in cruise industry direct expenditures, 26,241 jobs, with a total wages of 1.75 billion in Texas. So this means a lot of money for the Texas economy. The port, according to CLIA, that's the Cruise Line International Association, the port has increased operations by 126% since 2010, and that's pretty cool. Of course, Royal Caribbean is a major player and has been. And one of the reasons that they're thinking that this is just the start of things there, Royal Caribbean is a new $100 million cruise terminal in the planning and being built at Pier 10. The cruise line will lease it from the port initially for 20 years with 14-year options. So Royal Caribbean is tied up with Galveston. Sorry about the throat this morning, folks. All right. That's the main story. Galveston doing quite well. Despite, and that's despite the weather problems they had during the year, this past year, because they had a bunch of cruises that had to cancel. So those numbers would be even higher had it not been for the weather. But anyway, Galveston, that's a little picture there of Galveston. I didn't get that up, but that's neither here nor there. You know me and my lack of technical skills. So anyway, the Port of Galveston, very healthy and very good for them. So the second story is not such a good story. Cruises going to Dominica have been canceled due to violence. Apparently, as of yesterday, all cruise ship calls to Dominica are canceled effective immediately. Calls are set to resume after today's election, a general election. So this is all politically motivated. But a team of regional law enforcement personnel from the Barbados-based regional security system are on the ground to restore order. So they've had some violence. They've had obviously some fires. And this is apparently all has to do with their elections, and they're not happy with the government, or they're not happy with the people that are running, and who knows. But it's become unsafe for tourists to travel there because there are roadblocks and demonstrations taking place in all parts of the country. So we're assuming that, that's going to get back to normal. Dominica is not a major cruise port, but there's a number of ships that go in there. The schedule this week had Morella. One of the Morella ships was due in there yesterday, and a Viking ship was due in tomorrow. But there's a number of the cruise lines go to Dominica, so not a good situation down there. If you're on a cruise that is heading that way this week and possibly next week, just be aware that you might have a change of itinerary because of that. So because we would definitely want to keep everybody safe down in that neck of the woods until they get this election out of the way, and I guess the new government gets in power and restores whatever stability there is to the region. So that's it for this morning. 2 quick stories. That's why I did a little special broadcast. The main thing I wanted you guys to know about the Chillie Chats being postponed yesterday, due to issues that were way beyond my control. So Chillie Chats will be on the air later on today at some point. We'll get a notification up as soon as possible. And as always, if you'd like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports that call cruises themselves, Chillie Chats, and travel and cruise industry news. Normal days are Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday at 6 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Just hit that little subscribe button down there someplace down here. Let's try this finger. It's down there, I think. A little red button says subscribe. Hit that. And there's a bell notification. You'll be notified as soon as we go live or when we post a new video, so you can keep up with everything we're doing here from Chillie's Cruises, whether it's news oriented or cruise ship oriented or ports of call oriented or travel industry as a whole. So, and as always, we would appreciate a thumbs up. That's just neither here. That's good. So that wraps us up for today. I will be back on the air tomorrow morning with our regular episode of Travel and Cruise Industry News. And of course, we'll be on hopefully later on today on Chillie Chats with Kyle Falwell and an update on Bahama recovery efforts from Hurricane Dorian. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time. That about wraps up today's travel and cruise industry news. We hope to see you next time. We meet here every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday mornings at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This broadcast was produced by Chillie's Cruises and hosted by me, Chillie Falls.